Hello, I am Coach Irene. I have been teaching English language for more than 5 years. Welcome to this lesson where we will be learning about verbs. In this video, I will show you different types of verbs and show you how to avoid common mistakes that students of English make. Let's jump right in. What is a verb? A verb is a word that describes an action, occurrence, or state of being. Examples include run, jump, write, play, drive, build, like, love. Let us look at the two types of verbs, state verbs and action verbs. They can also be referred to as stative or dynamic verbs. However, they refer to the same thing, state and action verbs. State verbs are generally not used in continuous or progressive tenses because they describe a condition that is constant or unchanging over a period of time. For example, I am knowing the answer. This statement is incorrect. It should be, I know the answer. The initial sentence is wrong in view of the fact that you cannot use a continuous form for a state verb. By that, I mean the ing form. Other state verbs include love, hate, like, prefer, own, belong, have, see, hear, smell, taste, feel, know, believe, think, understand, remember, be, seem, appear, contain, need, want, wish, desire. These verbs don't take the continuous form ing because they describe states that are considered permanent or ongoing rather than actions or events happening at a specific moment. Let us look at the initial example again. I know the answer. The verb know describes a state of understanding or knowledge. It refers to a mental condition that doesn't involve any physical action or process happening at a specific time. The verb know is a stative verb representing a state of being, thinking, or feeling that are ongoing or unchanging. Therefore, they don't normally occur in continuous form. You wouldn't say, I am knowing the answer. This makes know a stative verb because it expresses a condition rather than an active or dynamic process. Whilst action verbs refer to actions or activities that can be seen or done, these can include physical or mental actions. It can be used in continuous tenses to show that the action is happening at the particular moment. For example, she is running right now. Other examples of action verbs include run, jump, dance, write, eat, climb, throw, drive, sing, think, decide, plan, study, imagine, consider, learn, speak, shout, whisper, ask, tell. These actions show activities or processes that involve movement, physical activity, or mental effort, and they can typically be used in both simple and continuous tenses. Note that state verbs cannot be used in ing forms. By that, I mean continuous forms. However, when you want to use the ing form, you can only do that with the action verbs. Let us compare the state and the action verb with these examples. I like ice cream. Like describes a feeling or preference, which is a state of mind rather than something dynamic. It is not an action you physically perform. Therefore, like is a stative verb. I eat ice cream. Eat describes a physical action that involves movement or activity. You can physically see or perform the action of eating. Therefore, eat is an action verb. You can also say, I like eating ice cream, but you wouldn't say, I liking ice cream. Whilst state verbs describes conditions, thoughts, or feelings that are constant or unchanging, action verbs describes activities or processes that involves movement, actions, or efforts, and they can often appear in both simple and continuous tenses. Using state verbs in continuous forms is one mistake English language students make. You do not use continuous form whilst using a state verb. We have come to the end of the first lesson. To proceed, we're going to be looking at main verbs and helping verbs, which can also be called auxiliary verbs. When using verb in a sentence, it can either be used in two ways. It can be used as the main verb or the helping verb. That is, it can help the main verb. Main verbs are the verbs in a sentence that shows the primary action or state of being. They carry the main meaning and can stand alone in a sentence. Examples we have verbs like run, eat, think, decide, swim, feel, like. Let's look at a sentence example. Jane runs every morning. Here, runs is the main verb and it shows the primary action. Another example would be, I think that's a great idea. Think in this sentence is the main verb. Let's look at helping or auxiliary verbs. Helping verbs are used alongside the main verb to form verb tenses, moods, voices, or to ask questions. They don't carry the primary meaning of the sentence but support the main verb. Examples include be, have, do, will, shall, should, can, could, may, might, must. All these are categorized into is, are, was, have, will. For example, she is running. Here, is the helping verb supporting the main verb running to show the continuous action. Another example would be, she has finished her homework. Has is the helping verb used to form the present perfect tense. Finished is the main verb showing the primary action. For helping or auxiliary verbs, the most important verbs are be, do, and have. Auxiliary verbs helps us to form negative sentences. For example, he isn't running in the park. Helping verbs also help us to know the tense of the sentence. For example, he is running in the park. Is in this statement help us to know the tense of this sentence. This sentence is a present continuous tense. Another way auxiliary verb help us to know the tense of the sentence is me saying, he was running in the park. This shows that is in the past. It is a past continuous tense. Was here signify past tense. In addition, it can be used to ask questions. For example, is he running in the park? In all these sentences, the helping verb is be. We are saying is in the sentence, however, the form is be. The verb do and have are also helping verbs. For example, do you like pizza? They have visited Paris several times. Note that be, do, and have can also be used as main verbs in some cases. For example, we have a car. Here, the main verb is have. Have here is not a helping verb. However, the sentence we have visited Paris several times shows that have is a helping verb, as visited is the main verb in the sentence. Other types of helping verbs are modals. They include can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must. Modals help us to express mood in a sentence, meaning the attitude of the speaker. For example, she can speak 3 languages. Another example would be, you mustn't eat chocolates. These sentences expresses mood of the speaker. Modals can also be in positive and negative forms. Way to go! We have come to the end of the second lesson. To proceed, we're going to be looking at regular and irregular verbs. In this class, we will be talking about regular and irregular verbs. I'd like you to note that only verbs can actually form tenses in English. Regular verbs form their past tense and past participle by simply adding ed or d to the base form. Examples we have walk, walked, jump, jumped, fire, fired, clean, cleaned. However, irregular verbs form their past tense and past participle in unpredictable ways. They often change their vowel or form completely. They have no consistent pattern. To know irregular verb, you need to learn them individually. Examples we have eat, ate, run, ran, buy, bought, take, took. Verbs helps you to make tenses by changing their forms. I believe you know past tense, present tense, and future tense. If you wish to know more about that, all you have to do is to click the link in the description box below. I have made a video about tenses in 9 minutes. Note that in making tenses, you have to change the form of verbs. That brings me to the 5 forms of verbs in English. We have the infinitive, which is the base form, the present tense form, the past tense form, the past participle form, and the ing form, which is the continuous form in English. Let's look at an example using the base form of a regular verb in English. To walk. Its present tense form would be walk or walks. That's because we usually say I, you, we, they for walk, and she, he, it for walks. The past form is walked. The past participle form is also walked. And the ing form, which is the continuous form, is walking. This is a regular verb because the past and the past participle form has ed endings. You do not have to change their form, unlike the irregular verb. Let's look at an example with the irregular verb. We have to eat as the base form, eat or eats as the present form, ate as the past tense form, eating as the past participle, and eating as the ing form. Let's look at another irregular verb example, to be. It has three present tense form, am, is, or are. The past tense form includes was or were. The past participle form is been, and the ing form is being. I believe you can see the difference between regular and irregular verbs. You might want to ask me, how do I know regular and irregular verbs? Consistent practice will make you get better with knowing the irregular and the regular verbs. To proceed, we're going to talk about transitive and intransitive verbs. A transitive verb is a verb that takes an object. Talking about objects, what is an object? In grammar, the object of a verb is a noun. Like you know, a noun refers to a person, place, animal, or thing. If you wish to know more about nouns, you can click the link in the description box below where I did a video about nouns. The object receives the action of a verb. Transitive verbs always takes an object. Let's look at an example. She bought. Does this sentence make any sense to you? You might ask, she bought? What did she buy? Of course, she bought a book. A book is the object of the verb bought because book received the action of the transitive verb bought. Bought here is a transitive verb. It always needs an object. Some other transitive verbs include bring, buy, make, eat, write, take, send, tell, give, build, fix, read, open, close, carry, know. All these verbs require a direct object to complete their meaning, such as he read the book. With transitive verb, you can ask the question who, what, when, where, and how. For example, who did you bring to the party? What did you buy at the store? Here are other examples of transitive verbs. She wrote a letter. He took a photo. I sent her an email. She opened the door. Let's talk about intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs are verbs that do not require an object to complete their meaning. The action of the verb does not transfer to anything or anyone. They can stand alone in a sentence. They do not need a direct object. They often describe actions that affect the subject itself or express a state or condition. For example, the child cried loudly. Everyone laughed at the joke. Let's look at the initial sentence. The child cried loudly. Loudly is not an object. Loudly is an adverb giving us information about how loud the child cried. The second sentence, everyone laughed at the joke. Notice that everyone laughed can stand on its own without adding at the joke. This tells you that laughed here is an intransitive verb. Other intransitive verbs include arrive, sleep, run, jump, cry, laugh, swim, fall, shout, grow, go, walk, die, rise, sit, appear. These verbs do not require a direct object and can stand alone to express a complete action or state. When asking questions with who, what, when, where, and how, you do not require an object to complete the question. That's how you know it is a transitive verb. Examples we have: who slept? Who spoke? Where does he live? In each question, the verb is intransitive because it doesn't need an object to complete its meaning. We have come to the end of the third lesson. Gracious felicitations. To proceed, we're going to be talking about linking verbs and phrasal verbs. Linking verbs are verbs that connect the subject of a sentence to a subject complement, such as an adjective or noun, without expressing an action. For linking verb, instead of showing what the subject does, it describes the subject's state of being or condition. They do not show action or help the main subject. They only identify or describe the subject. Here are 16 common linking verbs: am, is, are, was, were, be, been, being, become, seem, appear, feel, look, sound, taste, grow. These verbs are also called to be. Let's take a look at an example. She is a doctor. Is links she to the noun doctor, describing her state or identity. She looked beautiful. Looked here is the linking verb that linked the subject with the adjective beautiful. Lastly, we're going to be looking at phrasal verbs. They are formed by combining a main verb with one or more particles, either prepositions or adverbs. The meaning of phrasal verbs often differs from the meaning of the individual words. Here is how you can form and use them. Choose a main verb that you want to use. For example, take, give, get, put, look, come. Add a particle. Combine the main verb with a particle. It could be a preposition or an adverb to create a phrasal verb. The particle changes the meaning of the main verb. Examples we have: give as a main verb. When you add a preposition up, it becomes give up, which means to quit or stop trying. Another example would be look. Adding a preposition would be after. Thereafter, we have a phrasal verb, look after, meaning to take care of. The meaning of the phrasal verb is often idiomatic and different from the literal meanings of the main verb and the particle combined. Other phrasal verbs include ask around, abide by, blow up, care for, catch up, clean up, cut in, go against, grow out of, hang in. Sentence examples include: he took off his shoes. Please turn on the lights. With this, we have come to the end of these lessons. I trust that you got value. Do well to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our exquisite channel. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.